Absent AEW Star credits WWE's Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for getting him job. An absent AEW car has credited WWE's CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for getting him a job in the company. It has been almost a year since we last saw Danhausen on mainline AEW TV, with his last appearance coming at December 2023's Worlds End pay-per-view. Despite competing consistently on the independent scene throughout 2024, a recent report revealed that there is no current creative plans being drawn up for Danhuasen's return, with his contract set to expire next summer. While his future in AEW appears to be uncertain, Danhausen recently recalled his beginnings in the company whilst being interviewed on Buff Bagwell's YouTube channel. Danhausen recalled getting a job in AEW back in January 2022 whilst recovering from a broken leg, and how stars such as Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Chris Jericho, and Orange Cassidy all vouched for him. I showed up to say hello to people. To their credit, Cody Rhodes said, "Are you doing something tonight?" I said, "No, my leg is broken." He said, "I'll make sure you're doing something tonight." So, Cody, I think, had a little bit to do with helping me get a job there. I believe Pepsi Phil, CM Punk, had something to help with that. I believe Chris Judas, Chris Jericho, had something to help with that because I did his cruise. Orange Cassidy, I believe, helped. Danhausen credits Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and more with helping him land a job at AEW. Danhausen talks about getting a job with AEW while out of action with a broken leg. Danhausen was recently interviewed on Buff Bagwell's YouTube channel. As part of the interview, Danhausen spoke about his first night in AEW, and all of the top stars in the company helped him get hired. Danhausen credited current WWE Champion Cody Rhodes with making sure that Danhausen was featured the first night he was backstage at an AEW event. This is despite the fact that Danhausen was out of action with an injury. Danhausen also stated that CM Punk, Orange Cassidy, and Chris Jericho vouched for him as well. I showed up to say hello to people. To their credit, Cody Rhodes said, "Are you doing something tonight?" I said, "No, my leg is broken." He said, "I'll make sure you're doing something tonight." So, Cody, I think, had a little bit to do with helping me get a job there. I believe Pepsi Phil, CM Punk, had something to help with that. I believe Chris Judas, Chris Jericho, had something to help with that because I did his cruise. Orange Cassidy, I believe, helped. Danhausen joined AEW in January 2022. He first appeared at AEW Beach Break during Adam Cole's bout against Orange Cassidy. He hasn't wrestled for AEW since competing in the Right to Challenge Anytime, Anywhere Battle Royal for a shot at the TNT title at AEW Worlds End 2023, 0 Hour. In recent months, he has been engaged in the independent scene. On August 10th, he competed in OTT ScrapperMania VIII, defeating Renzo Rose to win the OTT No Limits Championship. He has also recently competed for PROGRESS and Limitless Wrestling. WWE's Cody Rhodes vs. AEW's Will Ospreay. 2024 run breakdown by veteran. WWE's Cody Rhodes and AEW's Will Ospreay are undoubtedly two of the biggest pro wrestling stars in the world today. Veteran wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer recently compared the two athletes and their respective runs in 2024 so far. Since he left All Elite Wrestling to return to the Stamford-based company in 2022, Cody Rhodes has emerged as one of the top names in the sports entertainment juggernaut. The American Nightmare finally succeeded in dethroning Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania XL and is currently feuding with Kevin Owens in a widely acclaimed program. On the other hand, Will Ospreay has also had a notably successful debut year in AEW. He held the international title briefly, pushed Swerve Strickland to the limit for the AEW World Championship, and had well-received matches against stars like Pac, MJF, and Bryan Danielson. Both Rhodes and Ospreay have often come up in fan discussions regarding who the wrestler of the year could be. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer commented on the subject by claiming that Cody, as a top draw in WWE, would rank above the Englishman on the metric of records. WWE is by far the dominant promotion. Cody Rhodes is drawing great. He won the world title on the biggest show of the year. He's defended it all year. He's been pushed hard. He's been drawing great. Record drawing. So I would say by that standard, he's number one. Meltzer then commented on the Aerial Assassin's performance since signing with the Tony Khan-led company. The other one is that Will Ospreay had a better year this year than last year. It's like he hit 400 for a mid-level team. The other guy was the superstar quarterback for a championship team. You could argue either way, said Meltzer. Will Ospreay lost the International Championship to Konosuke Takeshita in a three-way match also featuring Ricochet at Wrestle Dream 2024. Since suffering a shocking loss to Kyle Fletcher at Full Gear last month, the Commonwealth Kingpin is currently focused on winning the 2024 Continental Classic, starting his campaign successfully with a Gold League victory over Juice Robinson on AEW Collision last week. Ospreay is scheduled to face Claudio Castagnoli on the Winter is Coming edition of AEW Dynamite next week. Furthermore, he will take on Darby Allin in a much-anticipated bout on Dynamite Holiday Bash the week after. AEW star Danhausen's popularity is immense. He made his debut in the company in 2022. Controversially, he hasn't appeared on any of their programs for a year. Very Nice, Very Evil was recently interviewed by Marcus Buff Bagwell on his YouTube channel. During this interaction, the 34-year-old spoke about his all-elite wrestling debut. Additionally, he revealed that a few prominent industry names helped him get hired. Danhausen stated that the reigning undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes played a huge role in booking his debut appearance. Furthermore, he acknowledged Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho, and CM Punk for their support. I showed up to say hello to people. To their credit, Cody Rhodes said, "Are you doing something tonight?" I said, "No, my leg is broken." He said, "I'll make sure you're doing something tonight." So, Cody, I think, had a little bit to do with helping me get a job there. He ended his statement by saying, "I believe Pepsi Phil, CM Punk, had something to help with that. I believe Chris Judas, Chris Jericho, had something to help with that because I did his cruise. Orange Cassidy, I believe, helped," said Danhausen. There are reportedly still no creative plans for AEW star Danhausen. Prominent journalist Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful recently revealed that the last time he received information on Very Nice Very Evil's AEW status was in September. Unfortunately, there hasn't been any development in the story yet. There are reportedly still no creative plans for Danhausen. There had been some contact between AEW and Danhausen in September, but I've not heard of any creative plans. Ultimately, he works there, so if they tell him to come to work, he will. He's never said or implied otherwise, said Sean Ross Sapp. The 34-year-old's last match in the company was in an AEW TNT title right to challenge Anytime, Anywhere Battle Royal. This took place at Worlds End 2023.